Hi, it's Steve here, sitting here with a friend of mine, actually one of my better friends that I've known for, well, I'm 63, so I've probably known you for 50 years plus, um, who also is a veteran, Vietnam veteran. And I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself first, and actually, uh, I'm going to tell you his name. His name is Charles Gregory Stranger, better known as Chuck, better known as Smoky. Um, I'm going to let Smokey tell you a little bit about your early childhood and growing up and your family life and what have you. Um, go away, Smokey. Let me know.
Oh, well, I grew up pretty close to Steve, and we went to most of the same school, and it was a good childhood in the 50s and 60s. Uh, Vietnam, never heard of it before I went to high school, and
Well, that's good. No, extra. In school, did we do any? Did you do any extracurricular activities?
Ran track.
Oh, that's right.
Which helped me later.
That's right. He was the track runner. I forgot. Did you have a favorite teacher while you was in school? Somebody you looked up to?
Yes. I guess my favorite teacher was Waterhouse. He was a track coach.
Yeah, Coach Walraus. Absolutely. Um, did you go to college right after you got out of high school?
Yes, I did. My grades weren't well enough, but I got a lot of recommendations from people and lawyers that we knew, and I went to Ohio Northern for a quarter.
What made you leave Ohio Northern after the first quarter?
Well, the dean coming down to get Greg Knott and I out of jail didn't help one night. But that was it for a while until I got my draft notice. Then I went to Kent Stark for a while. Then I decided to go into the Army with a good friend of mine.
That's exactly what I was gonna go with. You enlisted. You wasn't drafted.
I didn't know enough at the time to volunteer for the draft. A friend of mine, Terry Harris, and I went into the enlistment office and said, we want to enlist for 2 years. He said, we only have 3-year enlistment. He said, sign us up. He goes, what school do you want to go to? And I said, I want infantry.
And what Terry
And I
said?
don't think he got any bonus points for that. So he goes, you don't want infantry. So he said, what's the closest fort here? And we went to supply schools where I would have gone. So we go into basic, and at the time, if you had an IQ over 90, you could go to OCS school. So I volunteered for that. That's always combat arms. And so my MOS changed to infantry. And after I got out of infantry school, in their wisdom, they sent me to artillery OCS, which I hated. So another friend I met there found out every infantry MOS dropping went to Germany, so we took off. And they make it's basic, anybody could get through OCS. And when you want to quit, they try to drum you out until you want to quit, then they beg you to stay in. But I said, no, I want infantry. And went to Germany, and then got on a levee. That's where they need people, and went to Vietnam as a grunt.
You remember your first day in Vietnam? You remember getting off the plane?
Sure, who doesn't?
That's right.
That was in April, left Fort Lewis, Washington, cold as heck, and got off that plane in the furnace.
Yeah, that was
and the smell. Nobody forgets that.
While you was in Vietnam, did you get off? Did you go to Long Binh first?
No, I landed at Cam Ranh Bay.
Oh, you went to Cam Ranh Bay.
Then 1st Cavalry Division has its own training camp up in An Khe, which is in the Central Highlands. And went there, and then met a guy in Cameron Bay. We stayed next to each other, and we ended up in the same squad in Vietnam. And he since died of cancer.
He was a good friend of yours, yeah.
Yeah.
When you were over there, Smokey, how many people do you think that you would have called friend?
Friends, everybody in my platoon.
Everybody in your platoon.
Yeah. When you're when you're when you're in infantry, you're almost always walking single file because you don't want to spread out, except for flank security. So we set up every night on a hill. That was in the mountains, I-Corps. And you dig in, you set your trip flares, you claymore. By then it's dark, and you never really get to know too many of the other platoon. You know them by face. I got pictures of them, but names, only a couple did I remember from the line platoon. I carried an M60, but our company liked to keep one with the mortar platoon. So I was in a mortar platoon, being an 11 Bravo instead of 11C. And that's
How many firefights do you think you was in, Smoke?
about 3.
You was about 3.
Sniped a lot of time.
It is, isn't it? It was, wasn't it?
And we moved, halfway through my tour, we moved down to Tay Ninh, and that we're operating now about 7 miles from Cambodia at that parrot speed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we hit a lot of things.
Well, when you left, do you remember the feeling? I mean, to jump forward so far, but do you remember the feeling when you left Vietnam? What the feeling was? You remember?
Well, we got in a fight November 25th and lost 12 guys. That's 12 guys killed. 4th platoon had about 3 guys. I mean, 3rd had about 3 guys left in the field. A lot of wounded. And I talked to platoon leader came to my reunion in Florida, and I emailed my company commander from that time. And we got hit with this regiment. It's 200-300 people hit us from one side. So I was hectic for a while. But one of the things is I never knew how many guys died. And afterwards, no one ever talked about it. We tell new people, oh, wait till you get into it. But the guys mostly didn't talk about it. Then I got home, and when I got home, there's a guy. Well, I'm jumping way ahead. 2000.
Yeah.
Robert Kahn is a professor at Michigan State who has a B Company First of the 7th CAV website. So on it, he lists all the people when they died, and that's how I found out that many. I didn't know that many people even died
on that night, on that day.
And now I have them went to the wall, and I keep them up on my wall because I figure they're the reason I'm still here. And, plus the guys in my platoon, they were set up next to us, so you set up in a circle. So like 300 people are trying to get this way with 2 platoons basically on that side, our platoon and 2nd platoon. That's my story.
Well, when you left,
after that,
I know
I never wanted trouble. After that, I was just kind of dreaming about killing gooks.
Yeah.
And every place we'd set up, I'd think I'd dig in real good and just think, I hope they hit us tonight.
This was after that one battle.
Before then, I never even felt just soldier.
What do you feel about them now?
Same thing. They we didn't have any business over there, so it's just other soldiers doing their job.
That's what it was, wasn't it?
I doubt if they really they probably hated Americans then, but now they have no you ever saw the movie, we were soldiers once. The first company on the ground is mine, B, first and seventh. So
Yeah, that was a heck of a movie.
what's odd too is that was November 14th, and then November 14th is actually when we started chasing this regiment. And the 25th, like the November 25th is in my mind, etched there.
Yeah.
Because that's when we got in a real bad one.
Well, when you came home, did you know anything about the VA or anything else like that? Did anybody ever tell you anything about getting help?
Well, sure, my dad.
Your dad
My
did?
dad was in Bastogne in World War II, so
right.
he knew something about the. Yeah, he had troubles, mentally from that. I mean, we thought we had it bad. There's a division, 101st plus his battle group from the 10th Division. They hit with, I don't know, 15 divisions.
Yeah.
Held them off.
Yeah.
But yeah, he told me. But I don't, just like you, we grew up. We were lucky in that everybody we knew went over there, so everybody came back together. So we had more support than you hear of all these guys. I come home and my friends don't want anything to do with me. I never understood what kind of a friend that was. But we just were all there and came back.
Didn't you find it funny though that the thing? You're right. That was the thing that sustained me.
Probably helped us. We probably would have whacked out earlier, but we were all there, and it helped a little that you come back and you're not isolated, I guess.
Against the rest of the world,
right.
Basically. But the picture that we took and everything else. The thing that really got me started on actually my plight with the VA and everything else is that I looked at the picture. We had a picture that was taken at it was in Life magazine, and Smoky and I were in it. There was actually 10 of us in the picture, former Vietnam vets that came home. And I looked at that picture, and I could not tell you what one other person actually did while they were in Vietnam in that picture, what their job was in that picture. And I thought, I think this is really kind of ironic that we never talked about what our jobs were, but we were a group of guys that hung around together. And that was what our commonality was that we went over, we came back, and you're right, I could never understand people that would isolate from you. And there were people that, when I came back, that isolated away from me. They didn't want to be around me, I know that. And but we had so many of us that from our hometown. I mean, how many died from our hometown in Vietnam? 18, something like that? 15?
Oh, died?
Yeah, in Vietnam.
Yeah, well, they're all on the bridge. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's 18, and then when you look at it, out of the 18, if you multiply that, it would have came out to equate it to the population of New York City. 3,200 from Masson would have died. So our city took more than its share of young people dying in a war that we look back on now. That was like, what was it all about, anyways? I mean,
well, I had a reunion. Now you're talking about. I've always, until recently, until we started going to the VA, I was kind of an elitist because I was infantry. And it was like, if you were supply over there, there's people over there that I know that served in their off-duty time. I only slept on a cot when I showed up to the company, when I went on R&R, and before I left. And it was an air mattress after that. So I originally, you weren't a grunt, but since then, people in artillery, because they're getting overrun, on their bases too. But the pilots, and everybody, even the supplies getting rocketed every night, just being in that crummy place. But I had a reunion where 12 guys came, and we talked about most of the good times. Because, it's like Tale of Two Cities. It was the best some of the best times I ever had in my life. Some of the worst times. After that firefight, when I knew I was alive, when you know you're dead, first of all, it's like, just kill as many as you can, because you're not getting out of it, is basically. And then you're working on, you're not thinking anymore. You're just acquiring targets. So you're not even scared anymore. But, well, there went my mind.
Yeah.
But at any rate, we had this reunion. That's it. We always said, well, what do you think of all that? And the one guy came up with the best description. He said, we didn't take part in the war, we took part in the disaster. Because we're just lucky we got back here alive.
That's excellent.
Because when you hear bullets snapping by you, you know they're close. And I can remember the ground just, you dig your hole and you build up dirt just kicking in my eyes because there's so many bullets. But I was very lucky in the first cab. You hold on for about 10 minutes and there's Cobras on it. Because we always have them in the air, you know, once they get there. So
when you came home, what'd you do when you came home? What job? Did you come home to a job?
no, I came, you know that. We had a softball team that nobody worked. That's pretty bad. We all took advantage of the GI Bill just so we didn't have to work, basically, right?
That's the way it was.
And it was enough to live and go to school and drink.
And that's what we did. We did that best. When did you first start seeking help at the VA?
After you did it, about 2000. I went to the VA because health insurance started getting prohibitively expensive. And I went to apply, and I can remember they fill out that needs, and I made too much money, so I'm almost leaving the place, and I go, you know, and the guy goes, wait a minute, you have a Purple Heart? And I go, well, yeah, and he goes, oh, then you don't need to meet the means test. This one guy wouldn't have read down further on my thing, that would have been it, and I probably would have never ever gone back, probably.
And this was all down, Smokey and I both lived down in West Palm area, down in Boca Raton, Delray Beach area. And our VA was the one at West Palm Beach. And actually, it's one of the better ones in the country, and one of the most caring ones that I've come across so far. We had some very good doctors at that place. And one of the best doctors was Dr. Lapine. I mean, there was no doubt about it. There was a guy that walked the walk.
Yeah, he was stationed right by me when I was up north.
He was stationed right by?
In fact, he was stationed with Wigley at Fubai, which is 5 miles north of Way, which is where the camp
at the same time?
I don't believe at the same time.
That is amazing now. So, really, you're right. We took advantage of the GI Bill, and we did our thing and what have you. Then I remember you moved down to Florida, what, 75? 70?
Yeah, about 75.
75, yeah. And actually, Smokey was the one that got me to move down to Florida in 76. He called me and says, I got a job for you if you want a job down here. I said, why not? And I moved down, and actually I stayed with him for a couple of weeks or a month, what have you. And then my wife and I, we found our own place and started working at the same place that Smokey did. And I was selling actually garage doors, and he was installing them for this company. And the garage door company was one of the most successful ones in the area. They built their own garage doors. We built specialty wood doors, and it may seem like some people may say, "Oh, a garage door is a garage door," but that's not true. There's an awful lot of technicality to putting one together and installing it. But then you went on to form your own company.
Yeah, and I never looked never realized it till I was about retiring, or till we were going, to the shrinks, that I'd worked other jobs, but garage doors, I took the door out and got to the garage and didn't have to interact with anybody, because I'd have never made it in jobs that I even had to work with. I just too screwed up to get along with people.
How many times you been married now?
Twice.
How many kids?
2. My first wife said, you know, if I had to take a hill, there's nobody I want more than you with me, but I can't stay married to you.
Yeah, I had the same. I know those challenges.
But I was lucky. My second wife, well, I went to school with her, and she lived up here and didn't know me as well.
And guess what? She's still with you.
But I joke around, and that was my way of coping. One day we'd go to those groups, and then I'm seeing my psychologist, and I said, Dr. Carrick, I look at these people, I see some crying, and I go, I don't want 100% if I don't deserve it, because I don't see it. He goes, you hide it inside, and you use humor. He says, believe me, you're as screwed up inside as anybody in that meeting. And that's why I proceeded trying to get 100%.
Stability. If you had one thing to tell the kids that were coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan today, would you give them, what advice would you give them?
Well, first I'd thank them for going over there many times, more than we did. But it's the same thing anybody would get help. They get a little better. They go through a little process that tells them what's coming and get to the VA. Us, they just got out and, you get 6 months to get a dental thing, and that's it. So I think they're sure a lot, at least they're more, they try to help them more, they try to steer them there, but they're just as screwed up, and they don't want anything to do with any more of the Army. That's probably their problem.
And that's the challenge that I believe also. I want to thank you, Smoky. That was absolutely wonderful, to tell you the truth. That was straight from the heart, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate you being my friend more than anything in the world.
And we're here at the grave of one of my best friends. He was a Green Beret and died a tragic death.
Well, thank you very much, and look forward to the next posting. Thank you all very much.